This Wuben G5 is about the size of a Hot Wheels car, yet outputs about 400 lumens and has practical features like no other. So let's check this out. We'll do a full review and show you how good this flashlight is. Welcome back. Hey, welcome back. This is the Wuben G5. This is an ECL from their point of view, which is easy carry light, but it's actually an EDC, and this one comes in different colors. I don't know what color this is, but probably I'm guessing it's black because of what it's on the box. So easy carry light, like I mentioned, it's an EDC, 400 lumens. It has an IP rating, we'll check it out later. So it can run for about 65 hours and it's Type-C charging, of course. Packaging is very different. It's actually a sealed box, so you can see I haven't even opened it. And here are the run times which are mentioned over here. So white light, 400 lumens, and it can run for about 50 minutes. And I think it's got an RGB light as well, so it's a dual light setup. It's also got a flasher. It's got flashing different colors, as you can see. And every color has its own runtime, and I think it's pretty much the same, 25 hours. So about 10 lumens. And it's also got a beacon mode, which runs for about 45 hours. So really cool. So this is a really small looking device and it's very lightweight. So let's quickly open the box up. It's sealed on both sides. So yeah, so let's take it back over here. Oh, this is an army green. So there you go. It's actually mentioned army green. So that's a nice color. And there's a pull tab, which is very easy to take off because there is an indication there. So let's take that back. So does it slide out? Okay, not too sure. Yeah, it does slide out. So yeah, this is the inner packaging. Again, something different. Wow, that's how it opens. And there you go. So it says Wuben, thanks for using it. And let's okay, look at this inner packaging. So there is some polyurethane which is holding this back. Flashlight's really small. I mean, it's really cute. There you go, army green, and look at how beautiful this thing is. So let's also see what else is in the box. I'm sure there is some charging cables. So there's a Ziploc which has a lanyard. You will need one because this is really tiny. And you have a Type-C charging cable. Not too long. I think this is hardly about 1 feet, probably. Not even that much. So that's all you need. There is a user manual. Yeah, nice color book. So shouldn't have any trouble understanding how it works. Okay, let's look at the flashlight now. So let's have a closer look at this beautiful product. It's made of aluminum and it says Wuben G5. It's got a rotating jog dial, which means it's got endless brightness from 1 lumen to 400 lumen, which is awesome. So it's a dual headlight setup. So you have the main flashlight LED over here and you have an RGB LED, which is really cool. Rotating head, of course, so 180 degrees. So you can take it in any direction. It does click, which is really nice. It's got another icon there which says hot, and I think on full brightness, it can get really hot. At the side, you have some sort of a belt clip, so you can actually move that. That's again movable to 180 degrees. So mounting options are limitless, and it's also got a magnetic base. And you also have a lanyard slot over here. You can see there are actually multiple screw units over here, which means you can actually maintain this and repair it if there's any problem. There's of course the charging port at the back over here. It's Type-C. And it's also got a locking mechanism along with that. We'll come to that in a second. So overall, I think the build quality is really nice, and this is IP68, so you can actually submerge it into water and be comfortable with it. So that's the best part about this. It's really small, it's waterproof, and it's durable. It's practical. You can mount it in different directions, and it's really nice. So let's come to the buttons over here. So you have a lock button, which means right now, no matter what I do, this is the on-off button over here. It's not going to switch on because it's actually locked at the moment. And then you have an unlock mode. So basically the USB port cover doubles up as another double switch, so kind of helps you. Pressing it for a second it tells you how much battery is left. So if it's a flashing blue, so there's a certain amount of battery drain which has happened, so you have about 70%. And if it's a constant blue, that means the battery is fully charged. And if it's a red, obviously it means the battery needs to be charged, right? So that's the battery indication button. So you just press it when it's off for a second. So let's turn on the headlight and the main the main flashlight over here. So let's press it. Okay, it's gone into beacon mode right now. So let's get started with the operations of this little flashlight. So Wuben GS logo has these three icons over here. So it says lock mode, which means the flashlight won't switch on even if you press the button. And then you have the flashlight button, which means you're right now in operational mode. So which means if you press this, it'll work. And this is of course for you to charge. I think these two are actually functional modes. So if you put it in this as well as this, it's going to actually activate the flashlight. So let's go ahead and see what happens over here. Like I mentioned, so it shows you the battery percentage whenever you long press it when it's switched off. So a flashing blue would indicate a certain amount of battery reserve. When it's actually constant, it shows you that it's full. Then it goes to red, obviously telling you that the battery is actually going down. And then the flashing red would be ultra low mode, which means you have very little battery left. Also, let's put on the main lights now. A quick press will get it into the dimmest mode, I guess. And you have a rotational knob over here, which means you have unlimited amount of brightness settings from 1 lumen to 400. So right now this flashlight's on. I know it's recording and probably won't make out the difference. So yeah, so this is how the knob works. So I'm going to put it full brightness. Yeah, when it flashes, it says that you actually reached the limit. And when I actually go clockwise, it actually reduces the brightness and gives you a click telling you that that's about it. There you go. This is full brightness, 400 lumen. So that's the next setup over here. So you have an RGB LED over here, and the jog dials do magic because you can actually change the color based on the movement you have. Limitless combinations of colors over here because you have this nice little jog dial. I know the colors are not actually picking up well on the camera because obviously it's not able to process those colors. So there are a variation of colors. Let me keep something like this book. Probably you can see it better now. Yeah. So all the way from red to blue to yellow to purple. Yeah. So all kinds of combinations. And of course, you can actually put it in beacon mode. Apart from that, the entire unit has really, got these serviceable screws over here. Of course, I mean, I'm sure it's a technician who's able to replace the batteries or do changes like that. But this is actually a serviceable flashlight. So it's got a 5-year warranty from Wuben. So that's another thing to consider. So they have actually built it based on, whatever they feel. This battery probably would last you 5 years, after which it probably needs a replacement. And there's a lock mode, of course. Even if the flashlight's on, you put it in lock mode. So this can probably trigger when you're actually putting this in your pocket or placing it in a bag, a fully stuffed bag probably. So I just feel that this button could have been better designed. But either ways, it doesn't switch on the light. It just makes this active or inactive based on wherever it's actually positioned. So even if you put it in charging mode, this will still work. That's the best part. But if you put it in lock mode, that's the last button over here. So lock mode will switch off everything, which is really nice. So 3 controls you have over here. One is the lock mode, you have a toggle switch, and you have a jog dial. So cool. The G5 charges via USB-C, and on a full charge takes about 2.5 hours. Like most EDCs in its class, the G5 also has a magnetic back, which means you can mount it in various positions, and it actually gives you the flexibility with that 180-degree rotation head. So that means you can mount it in different options. And the magnet is decently powerful. It's good. It's not as powerful as some of the other EDCs I've seen, but for its size, I think that magnet does a decent job. Specifically for repairing things in your workshop, or let's say replacing a tire, it makes sense for it to have a nice rotational head. So this gives you a good light throw, and it's very, very practical. And remember, the G5 also has a metallic clip, which means you can clip it onto your caps or your shirts, and just practically use it anywhere where it can actually hold on to something. Okay, so this is at the lowest brightness, and you can see that it's barely showing any kind of light at all around. You can barely see the flashlight. So let's turn the knob and increase the brightness gradually. So it's a stepless adjustment, and it goes up to 400 lumens. And that wall is about 50 feet away. Just for reference, you can see the amount of throw. There's no hotspot, but there's a decent amount of light for this little small flashlight in my hand, and it's doing a pretty good job, I can tell you. Yeah, let's turn around. Let's see if we can show you something further. So this is about 75 feet, that wall over there. Still doing a good job. Beacon mode, of course, works great, but whichever color you have selected in RGB mode, that's the color it'll actually work on. You can't change the color once you do that, so if you turn the knob, nothing's going to happen. So let's try a different color. Right now it's in green, so that's the green beacon. You get the message. So when it's in low mode, for example, when you switch it on whatever brightness, if you double click, it'll go to full brightness. That's another feature this has got. So double clicking will take it to full brightness. So the beacon mode from about 25 feet looks like that. That's the green color, of course. And of course red looks like that. So if you want it in this red and blue flash mode, then all you need to do is just make sure that it's in RGB mode when it was switched off, and then you just double tap it. And instead of going to beacon mode, it goes into the red and blue quick flash mode. So here's my verdict about the G5. It's a really small EDC and it's very practical, and it's got tons of features, especially the rotating head and that belt clip which can go 180 degrees. And it's also made of aluminum, and it's also got that magnetic base, charges quite nicely with USB-C, and it's IPX68 rated. All this for a price of around $20. There's a discount going on. I'll leave links in the description below. This makes for an excellent EDC gift at a great price. Once again, thank you so much for watching rTech. I have other EDC videos along with other tech videos in my channel. Do subscribe and consider sharing this with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one.